Cartman, the sly troublesterer of the town, has dished it out plenty, but oh, how the turntables cackle with anticipation. Ever wondered what it's like when Puppet Master becomes the puppet? In this video, we will dive into the juiciest bits of South Park, where Cartman's mischievous chickens come home to roost, and he got what he deserved. But before we start the video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Number 10. Kyle vs. Cartman. Episode, It's Christmas in Canada.
It's Christmas. We officially missed it.
In this episode, we witness Kyle and Cartman, two fellows who just can't seem to agree. But this time, their clash takes a physical turn. Picture this. Stan, Cartman, Kyle, and Ike find themselves in Canada on Christmas morning after a series of mix-ups. Cartman's quite upset about missing out on his holiday presents and decides he's ready to throw down. Well, not exactly a full-blown brawl, but Kyle does give Cartman a little tap, and what do you know? Cartman starts bawling like a little baby. It's not quite as intense as some of Cartman's other defeats, but it's safe to say he had it coming. Number 9. Missing out on his favorite restaurant. Episode, Casa Bonita.
Food and fun in a festive atmosphere, Casa Bonita. Who said I'm inviting you?
In the eyes of Cartman, there's no restaurant greater than Casa Bonita. It's like a dream dining spot for him. But when Kyle decides to celebrate his birthday there, Cartman gets left out in the cold. You see, Kyle has had his share of mistreatment from Cartman, so he decides not to invite him. There's something deeply satisfying about witnessing Kyle finally stand up to Cartman and hold his ground. It even gets more interesting when Kyle goes to great lengths by hiding Butters away just so Cartman can't be part of the celebration. To add a cherry on top, Cartman ends up in juvenile detention for a week, although it's questionable whether he truly learns his lesson. Number 8. Wellbehaved. Episode, Tst. Cartman's been up to no good, spitting in someone's mouth and driving another person nuts enough to land them in a mental facility.
Look, Mexican, if you really think that you can... Knock it off!
Now, how in the world is his mom going to rein him in? Well, the solution turns out to be quite peculiar. Treat him like a dog. Enter renowned dog trainer Cesar Millan, who uses his canine techniques to transform Cartman into a well-mannered young lad. While it's a short-lived transformation, thanks to Cartman's mom, there's something oddly satisfying and unsettling about seeing Eric temporarily act like a responsible and balanced individual. Strangely enough, we might just prefer him in his usual sociopathic state. Number 7. Ignored. Episode, The Death of Eric Cartman. Imagine, if you will, a scenario where one individual shamelessly devours all the crispy skin off the KFC chicken meant for the whole gang. Outraged by this outrageous act, all the boys, excluding Butters, decide to wield a powerful weapon, complete and utter ignoring. It's a clever form of revenge, and one can't help but wonder if this is where the concept of ghosting originated.
Wow, a Jew asking for money, there's a new one.
Jokes aside, this entry stands out because it perfectly matches the crime, punishing a kid whose selfishness knows no bounds. Cartman, the attention seeker extraordinaire, now finds himself desperately craving the spotlight, and it's incredibly satisfying to watch him leap through various hoops in his quest for redemption. Number 6. Tenormans Revenge. Episode 201. Cast your mind back to that chilling moment when Cartman fed Scott Tenorman his own parents back in Season 5. It was a glimpse into the darkness that resides within Eric's twisted psyche. The aftermath of that incident set the stage for a Cartman who'd stop at nothing for vengeance. But here's a twist. It turns out the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Fast forward to Season 14, and we learn that Scott is actually Cartman's half-brother. In a cruel twist of fate, Eric's relentless vendetta inadvertently leads to his own father's demise. It's a masterful display of how the show can take Cartman's most heinous moment and cleverly turn it against him. While this entry might not claim the top spot, it certainly serves up the most psychologically layered comeuppance he's ever faced. Number 5. Wendy vs. Cartman. Episode, Breast Cancer Show Ever.
What's up? Wendy, don't forget, I'll tell my mom on you.
Now picture this. Wendy, who happened to be Stan's girlfriend, always had to put up with Cartman's teasing. Surprisingly though, Cartman gets all jittery when Wendy challenges him to a fight after school. It's pretty obvious from Cartman's desperate attempts to avoid it that he knows he's in for a rough time. By this point, Cartman has racked up quite a list of terrible deeds, so both the kids at school and us viewers are itching to see him face the music. And really, Wendy delivers. Punch after punch, and she goes at him until he finally hits the ground. It's not the most graceful scene, nor is it all that sophisticated, but for this big ol' meanie, it's nothing less than what he had coming to him. Number 4. Annoying himself. Episode, Go God Go. Imagine this, Cartman's impatience reaches such heights that he actually freezes himself in order to wait for the Nintendo Wii.
Hey! Whew! Close the door, I'm trying to freeze!
Eric, get out of there!
And then guess what? He wakes up after a whopping 540 years have passed. Now that's what I call a long nap. But wait, it gets even better. He lands right in the middle of a feud between folks from the future and some sea otters. You'd think Cartman would be thrilled with his futuristic adventure, right? Well, nope. He's dying to undo this whole time travel fiasco, so he tries to call himself in the past to prevent the freezing stunt. Here's the kicker. His past self isn't buying it and just hangs up on him. In a rather comical twist, Cartman eventually returns to the past, but it's a whole 2 months too early. You'd hope this experience would teach him a lesson in patience, but it's Cartman we're talking about, so don't hold your breath. Number 3. Cartman's Britney impression. Episode, Awesome-o. Cartman takes his ongoing mistreatment of poor Butters to a whole new level. He goes all out and dons a robot disguise, pretending to be Butters' brand new robot buddy. What's his sneaky plan, you ask? Well, he's hoping to dig up some embarrassing dirt on Butters that he can later use to tease him relentlessly. But life has a funny way of turning the tables, and Cartman's scheme spectacularly backfires. Here's how. Cartman stumbles upon a videotape of Butters making a Britney Spears impression, and it's nothing short of hilarious. The tide shifts, and suddenly Butters becomes the one in control. He uncovers Cartman's true identity as the fake robot friend, and to make matters worse or better, depending on your perspective, the embarrassing tape is viewed by everyone. It's a rare moment of comeuppance where the boys manage to get back at Cartman for his usual antics. Believe me, it's an absolute delight to witness. Number 2. Loses in the Special Olympics. Episode, Up the Down Steroid.
God damn it!
It's a tale of Timmy and Jimmy gearing up for the Special Olympics. While Jimmy battles his inner struggles about competing, Cartman has this wild notion that he can pretend to have a disability just to get into the competition and snag the sweet cash prize. I know it sounds pretty tasteless, but when it comes to Cartman, outrageous ideas are just par for the course. Believing he's a shoo-in, Cartman doesn't even consider that he needs actual skill for this competition. Turns out, he's out of shape and completely unprepared for the challenges. It's his utter lack of understanding that keeps that $1,000 prize frustratingly out of reach. Maybe next time, Eric, you should consider a bit of training before jumping into the ring. Number 1. God Gets Revenge. Episode, Human Centipede. Imagine this, you've messed up so badly that even God himself decides to teach you a lesson.
Human Centipede!
Cartman's on the receiving end of divine justice in this episode after accusing his own mother of some pretty inappropriate behavior. Fuming with anger, he takes his frustration out on the heavens, yelling at the sky right in front of Best Buy. Anyone watching can't help but secretly hope that some kind of cosmic retribution will rain down upon him, giving him a taste of his own medicine. And lo and behold, the moment arrives. A bolt of lightning strikes, and Cartman finds himself hospitalized. It's a moment of sweet satisfaction for viewers, knowing that the scales of justice have tipped, and Cartman is paying the price for his rudeness. So this seems enough for this video. Which moment was more amusing? Tell us in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next video.